For centuries, the Bosporus Strait has been the lifeline of empires, a shimmering blue stretch that connects the Black Sea to the Mediterranean, threading through the very heart of Istanbul. Every day, more than 100 ships squeeze through this narrow channel, gliding past palaces, mosques, and modern skyscrapers that cling to its shores. But behind the beauty lies danger. The Bosphorus is one of the most treacherous waterways on Earth, a twisting, congested passage where oil tankers and cargo ships pass within meters of millions of people. One wrong move could spell catastrophe. So, Turkey has decided to do the unthinkable. It plans to carve a second sea through its land, a man-made waterway that could rival the Suez and Panama Canals. President Erdogan calls it the Crazy Project, a multi-billion-dollar gamble to reshape global trade and redefine Turkey's power. Supporters hail it as an engineering miracle that will transform Istanbul into the maritime capital of the world. Critics warn it could destroy ecosystems and bankrupt the nation. But one thing is certain: if completed, it will forever change the geography and the destiny of the city that bridges two continents. Today, let's delve into the $20 billion Canal Istanbul megaproject. Don't forget to click on that subscribe button and like this video, as it's the best way to support this channel. The idea of cutting a canal across the European side of Istanbul is not new. Records from the 16th century Ottoman Empire reveal early ambitions to carve a navigable passage between the Black Sea and the Sea of Marmara, envisioned as a strategic route to boost trade and strengthen the empire's defense. However, it was only in the 21st century, under Erdogan's leadership, that the concept gained real momentum. The modern rationale is rooted in geography, politics, and the rising pressure of global maritime trade. The Bosporus Strait is the world's only natural outlet for Black Sea nations such as Russia, Ukraine, Romania, and Bulgaria. It is one of the busiest waterways on Earth, handling over 40,000 ship transits per year, far more than the Suez or Panama Canals. And unlike those engineered passages, the Bosphorus twists through a dense urban corridor. Sharp turns, strong currents, and heavy fog make navigation treacherous. Over the years, collisions and oil spills have scarred its waters. In 1979, the Romanian tanker Independenta exploded near Istanbul's shores, killing dozens and setting the sea ablaze for weeks. The incident became a national trauma and a warning of what could happen again. Adding to this complexity is the Montreux Convention of 1936, a treaty that regulates passage through the Turkish straits. It guarantees free transit to merchant vessels and prevents Turkey from collecting tolls or controlling naval traffic. For Turkey, this limits both sovereignty and revenue over one of the world's most strategic waterways. As ship traffic and environmental risks grew, Turkish leaders sought a solution beyond Montreux's restrictions. Thus emerged Canal Istanbul, a man-made passage designed to ease Bosphorus congestion, prevent maritime disasters, generate income, and reinforce national authority. President Erdogan hailed it as a project that would save Istanbul and shape a bold, self-reliant new Turkey. The planned Canal Istanbul is a colossal engineering project that would carve an entirely new waterway across European Turkey, running parallel to the Bosporus. Stretching 45 kilometers from the Black Sea to the Sea of Marmara, the canal would begin just west of central Istanbul, cutting across the European side of the city before meeting the sea again to the south. Its route follows natural lowlands to minimize geological disturbance, though it still demands one of the largest excavation efforts in human history. Designed to be 275 meters wide and 20.75 meters deep, the canal will accommodate the world's largest oil tankers and container ships. Engineers expect to excavate around 1.1 billion cubic meters of soil, a volume rivaling the original Suez Canal and exceeding that of the Panama expansion. The excavated material will form 3 artificial islands in the Black Sea, planned for recreation and ecological balance. But the project goes far beyond navigation. Along its banks, the government envisions 2 new smart cities, housing about 250,000 residents each. complete with transport links, green spaces, ports, marinas, and 6 highway bridges connecting both sides. A rail link will tie the canal zone to Istanbul's airports and logistics centers. Technologically advanced, Canal Istanbul will feature AI-guided navigation, real-time monitoring systems, and environmental safeguards to regulate water salinity between the Black Sea and the Sea of Marmara. Eco-corridors, water treatment plants, and flood control systems aim to mitigate ecological risks. Estimated to cost $15 to $20 billion, the canal is expected to handle up to 160 ships per day and spark a vast wave of trade, real estate, and infrastructure growth. President Erdogan hails it as not just a canal, but a monument to Turkey's power. The Canal Istanbul project is overseen by the Turkish Ministry of Transport and Infrastructure, with technical support from Istanbul Technical University. Announced in 2011, the plan faced years of environmental reviews and political debate before the environmental impact assessment was approved in 2020. Land surveys and expropriations followed, and early groundwork, including bridge foundations and road rerouting, began in 2021, with full-scale excavation expected by 2025. Construction will proceed in several phases, beginning with the relocation of utilities and transport corridors that intersect the canal's route. The excavation of over 1 billion cubic meters of soil will rely on advanced dredging technologies similar to those used in the Suez Canal expansion. Engineers will employ geotechnical sensors and GPS-guided systems to ensure slope stability and prevent landslides along the canal's banks. Given Istanbul's proximity to the North Anatolian Fault, the design incorporates robust earthquake-resistant measures, including deep pile foundations and flexible bridge reinforcements. Hydraulic simulations are being used to assess how the canal would react to earthquakes, floods, or sea level fluctuations. At its construction peak, the project is expected to employ tens of thousands of workers and stimulate key Turkish industries such as cement, steel, and logistics. If timelines hold, Canal Istanbul could open by 2030, standing as one of the most ambitious and technically demanding infrastructure feats in modern Turkish history. Funding for Canal Istanbul remains one of its most debated aspects. The Turkish government plans to finance the $15 to $20 billion project through a public-private partnership under a build-operate-transfer model, allowing private investors to fund and construct the canal, operate it for several decades, and recover costs through tolls before transferring it back to the state. Unlike the Bosporus, restricted by international treaties, the new canal would enable Turkey to charge competitive tariffs similar to the Suez and Panama Canals, potentially generating around $1 billion annually. Additional income is expected from surrounding real estate, industrial, and logistics zones. Interest has reportedly come from Qatari and Chinese investors, though no firm deals exist. With high inflation, currency volatility, and rising debt, critics question its feasibility. Yet Erdogan insists it will be self-financing, a national investment that will pay for itself many times over. Supporters view it as a strategic economic engine. Critics call it a vanity project designed to secure political legacy more than fiscal return. Since its announcement, Canal Istanbul has sparked intense debate within Turkey and abroad. Environmentalists and Istanbul's mayor, Ekrem İmamoğlu, have condemned it as a betrayal of the city, warning that linking the Black Sea and Sea of Marmara could disrupt salinity levels, devastate marine ecosystems, and worsen pollution in the already fragile Marmara. Critics also fear the excavation will destroy forests, wetlands, and farmland vital to Istanbul's water supply. Urban planners caution that the project could fuel unchecked real estate speculation, drawing hundreds of thousands of new residents and straining infrastructure. Economists question whether ships would abandon the toll-free Bosphorus for the paid canal, while opposition leaders accuse Erdogan of using it to benefit construction allies and cement political power. Geopolitically, its potential to bypass the Montreux Convention has raised serious concerns among global powers. If Turkey were to interpret the new canal as exempt from Montreux's rules, it could theoretically allow or restrict warship passage at will, a scenario that alarms both Russia and NATO states. Russia, whose Black Sea fleet depends on unrestricted access to the Mediterranean, views the project with suspicion. Despite financial strain, inflation, and strong public opposition, Erdogan remains resolute, declaring, "Whether they want it or not, we will build Canal Istanbul." Proponents of Canal Istanbul argue that its rewards will far outweigh its risks. Above all, it promises to dramatically reduce the danger of maritime accidents in the Bosporus, one of the world's most congested and hazardous waterways. By diverting massive oil tankers and chemical carriers away from Istanbul's densely populated shores, the canal could prevent disasters like the 1979 Independenta explosion. Economically, it is expected to open a powerful new revenue stream for Turkey through tolls, port fees, and logistics services, while creating tens of thousands of jobs during construction and thousands more once operational. The two planned smart cities along its banks would further stimulate real estate, transport, and retail sectors, absorbing Istanbul's growing population and attracting foreign investment. Strategically, the canal would reinforce Turkey's position as a maritime power, commanding access between the Black Sea and the Mediterranean, giving Ankara new leverage in regional politics at a time when energy routes and naval influence are increasingly contested. Erdogan hails it as part of a broader national transformation, alongside the new Istanbul airport and the Grand Istanbul Tunnel, defining Turkey as a modern, self-reliant, and globally influential state. As of 2025, Canal Istanbul remains in its early phases, with bridges and land acquisitions underway, and full-scale excavation expected soon. If completed by the 2030s, it would join the ranks of the Suez and Panama Canals, reshaping global trade and symbolizing Turkey's determination to control its destiny. Whether it becomes a triumph of vision or a monument to overreach, Canal Istanbul stands as a testament to a nation unafraid to redraw its own map